Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, or you find a way to lose. And you can also find that it's damn near impossible to make boxing fans happy. Now, there are many boxing fans that are saying that David Benavidez is cherry picking Morrell. And they're saying what David Benavidez is doing is exactly what Crawford did when he faced off against Marjamov. Now, in their minds, there's a correlation between Crawford fighting Marjamov and Marjamov only having 10 fights, and Benavidez fighting Morrell and Morrell only having 11 fights. So in their minds, these are inexperienced professional fighters going up against, very experienced professional fighters, arguably pound for pound greats. Now this is what I got to say, in the most respectful way, that people should hold their horses and not take it to the stupid. This is an era where you're seeing some of these guys come out of the amateurs. You know, more than 100 amateur fights, more than 200 amateur fights, more than 300 amateur fights, more than 350 amateur fights, a couple of more, 400 amateur fights. Let me tell you something. Those guys are already professional fighters. You can't sit here now and look at Marjamov and Morrell and say, this is a joke of a fight. These guys are just cherry picks. Why not face a professional fighter that has 20 plus fights, 25 plus fights? That's stupid. Because you could take Morrell, who's been beating fighters who have more than 20 fights. You could take Marjamov, who's beaten fighters that have more than 20 pro fights. Because they are cut from a different cloth, expanded amateur backgrounds, so they're going to be moved a little differently. Because they're not your typical professional boxer who needs to be fed tomato cans. Another fighter, Andy Cruz. You watch what's going to happen with him under Bowser. They're already moving him fast. You know why? Because of the amateur pedigree. He doesn't need to be fed tomato cans. Now, I'll say this. What do you want David Benavidez to do? Okay. Out of all the names, right, that he could have picked. Now, there was a laundry list of names out there. But he's really trying. Now, there's two things I think is happening here. One is, I think David Benavidez, they would never tell us this. But I think he realizes, you know what? I need to fight somebody who's a big guy like me, but who's now transitioning from 168 to 175 and who hasn't quite grown into the weight division. You know, it's one thing to weigh in at 175, but to be comfortable at that weight, to have grown into the weight. It's like Canelo when he bubbling up to 168, right? It took him a while to really grow into it and be comfortable. Now Canelo is, no kidding, a 168-pound fighter. And I think for Benavidez and Morrell, they're not quite settled at 175 yet, right? It is a big difference because you figure if you're fighting a guy at 168, they're cutting down from some of those guys 190, 200 maybe, and you fight a guy at 175, probably cutting down from 210, 215, rehydrating up to that 210, 215, something crazy. So it's a big adjustment. But I do think, in addition to what I just mentioned, I think Benavidez is always saying to himself, okay, I need to be careful with fighting these big guys. So let me fight Morrell because that's more of an even playing field. But also the fans want me to fight a big name. I fought Caleb Plant. I fought Andre. Fought Gvozdyk because they picked him. I'm going to tell you why they picked him. Because they had got the best of him in sparring. Now, let me just clear that up. Gvozdyk admitted that when they sparred, David Benavidez got the best of him. He said it. But you saw when they fought in an actual fight, not no sparring. David Benavidez, was pushing him back. But you saw what happened in the second half of the fight. David Benavidez wasn't able to really discourage or put a dent in Gvozdyk, and Gvozdyk started coming back. And I'm telling you, even David Benavidez knows if that shit had one more round, David Benavidez would have got knocked out. He would have got stopped. And I'm not now because see, they got so many people out here who aren't very bright. You're a Benavidez hater. Screw you, head champion. You're just a Benavidez hater. You jackass. My man, I ain't biased. See, y'all, people out here biased to fighters. I don't give a fuck. I just talk boxing. I don't have no favorite fighter. I don't give a fuck what happens with none of them, who wins, who loses. I just want them all to be healthy and make a bunch of money. But Benavidez wasn't going to work out well for him. So he did fight Plant, Andre, Gvozdyk. So he needs a big name. And I do feel that if this was 2 years ago, where everybody was talking about Benavidez, Canelo, Morrell, Canelo, Benavidez and Morrell, I think that the goddamn lid would have come off of the goddamn fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone would have gone crazy. Right now, you see some people are excited. But for me, I think the suspense is gone, and I don't see why anybody is, super excited. Excited, okay, but super excited for what? Even though I'm not sitting here, bouncing off the walls, I'm cool with the fight. But I'm not going to take it to the stupid and sit here and start saying, oh, this is a cherry pick. This isn't a cherry pick, people. I don't know if Benavidez and Morrell have ever sparred. Probably should have looked that up before I did this video. But what I will tell you is, I think that David Benavidez should be the favorite. But I'm going to say this again. Benavidez is trying to make the fans happy. I don't know if he feels by fighting Morrell, and if he can beat Morrell, this is going to get him a step closer to Canelo. I don't. I think it gets him a step closer to death, because he's going to Turki Al-Sheikh. It's like they're blocking him from the Canelo fight to make sure that Crawford gets it. And it don't look like Canelo wants the Crawford fight, but that's what it looks like to me. Turki Al-Sheikh is like, no, you're a big guy, too big for 168. You're bullying people. You fight at 175. I'll pay you big money. You go fight the winner of Bivol Bertabiev. You stay away from Canelo. That's for Crawford. Like, when I look at it, I really feel like they're doing David Benavidez wrong. I ain't gonna lie, man. I feel like they're setting this man up to lose. Just my opinion. But if he can get past Morrell, then he is next up to fight the winner of Bivol Bertabiev. But this is what's so crazy. If he beats Morrell, what people are gonna say, right, is, oh, Morrell only had 11 fights. That wasn't the kind of springboard fight that David Benavidez needs to go up and fight. No matter who wins, Bivol or Bertabiev, those are two animals. They're gonna be like, that wasn't what he needed. And when he goes up to fight them, he is going to lose. I'm telling you right now, David Benavidez is going to lose if he fights Bivol. Even if Bivol loses, he'll still beat David Benavidez. And if he fights Bertabiev, Bertabiev is going to, I think he destroys David Bertabiev destroys Benavidez. That's just how I see it. But people are going to sit there and say that, he wasn't ready. But when he was at 168, and he was ready, right? He was a beast. He could go fight a heavyweight. He could fight a cruiserweight. Even he was talking that. But I think he got a little bit of humble pie when he fought Gvozdyk. Just like Canelo was talking stupid. I fight Usyk. After I fight Bivol, I go fight Usyk. Yes, I can do it. It's good to believe in yourself, but you can't take it to the stupid and be delusional. Canelo became delusional, but he got his ass humbled. And I think that's what happened to David Benavidez when he fought Gvozdyk. I think he got humbled a little bit. I think he said to himself, shit, this is different on fight night with these big guys. But if he gets through Morrell, cool. But I just think fans shouldn't be out here calling it a cherry pick. Because Morrell was out here, man, when he got in the ring, it was like he was launching that Cuban missile and creating a crisis for anybody. Didn't look so good in his last fight. But I think you got to understand the expanded amateur pedigree and what these guys, the experience they bring to the ring and all the accolades. There's a reason why a guy like Morrell is where he's at after only 11 fights. Madrimov is where he's at after 10 fights. So I don't think it's fair to sit here now and poke Benavidez in the eye. I tell you what, Jesse Hart, he can fight. But when you talk about names ringing bells, like LL Cool J, right? David Morrell Benavidez, sounds pretty good. Jesse Hart Benavidez, it's all right, but it's not the same as David Morrell. But nonetheless, let's put a little respect on David Benavidez's name. It's not his fault that arguably one of the best guys at 175 happens to be David Morrell. And that guy in particular happens to be in the same situation as David Benavidez, where he's trying to grow into the weight division and sort some things out. So I think it makes the fight pretty evenly matched. But I still had to give the edge to David Benavidez. But you never know, because Benavidez is 6'1", 6'2", Morrell's 6'1", 6'2", reach, everything. I think this shit comes down to IQ and intelligence. But Benavidez is coming straight forward. And if Morrell can land a mega boom right hand on him, Morrell going to beat him. He's going to knock him out, people. So that's what I want to see is who's going to out-condition the other and who's going to outpower. Because Benavidez got power. He's got power. But if he's trying to just walk down a guy who's as tall as him with the same, if not more reach than him, he could run himself into a situation like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? He already got the wake-up call with Gvozdyk. But now he has someone who's probably going to be a bit more active, a bit more athletic. And Gvozdyk was super athletic. But somebody who can maybe get his shots off a little differently. You know what I mean? Maybe hit him with some shit instead of just sitting back being on the defensive, who's going to be on the offensive from the first second of the first round. Gvozdyk wasn't really that. He was put on the defensive immediately. But I want to see what happens. But, man, a fight like this, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to watch it, but I'm not too enthused because I don't want to see David. I'm going to tell you, I don't want to see David Benavidez lose. I don't. Part of me kind of feel a little bad for that guy. I ain't going to lie, man. His dad, whatever, colorful personality. You may like him or you don't. His brother, colorful personality. You may like him or you don't. But David Benavidez is more chill. And maybe because he's the youngest. But I don't like how he's been kind of railroaded, you know what I'm saying? And pushed away from the opportunity to fight for an undisputed distinction at 168 because they were afraid Canelo would lose. So now Turk Al-Sheikh's involved. He's paying him some good money, but he's like, I want you to go here. So Benavidez is like, all right, I'm not going to wait for Canelo. I'll go here. He's getting an opportunity to fight for undisputed. I just think the probability of him winning is very, very low. And he's going to take a loss. And then Canelo's going to be like, look, I beat Kovalev. I fought Bivol. I lost to Bivol, but I became a champion. He couldn't do it. That's not fair. Because that shit with Kovalev, I'm still going to tell you, I don't see how Kovalev can come from being the crusher, the killer, destroying people in the ring, fight Canelo, and all of a sudden he gets knocked out. But then you think about the fact that catch weights and all that shit, rehydration clauses. I don't know. But anyway, boxing fans need to chill out. You can't sit here and poke David in the eye just because Morrell has 11 fights. Morrell was a champion at goddamn 168. Now he has an interim belt like David at 175. Yeah, a little bit of the secret society and politics and boxing putting him in position, but if not Morrell, then who? That's what I'm asking. Because everybody else is either busy or the names that no one really knows. So what you want the man to do? Hold your horses, take it easy, and don't take it to the stupid. Yeah, I'm in the breeze.